Hello, recap writer here. Today, I'm going to explain an action thriller movie called Gladiator. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie starts with a prologue. 16 years after Marcus Aurelius's death, his dream of Rome has been forgotten, and Rome is ruled by the corrupt twin emperors Geta and Caracalla. In Numidia, we are introduced to Lucius, living as Hanno, who is enjoying a peaceful life with his wife, Arishat. Suddenly, their serenity is shattered when war horns can be heard from the nearby city. Both warriors prepare as a fierce battle is imminent. We are then introduced to General Lucius, a Roman commander who is leading thousands of Roman soldiers to invade Numidia. A fierce battle begins with both sides losing a vast amount of soldiers. Arishat is killed after a direct command from General Lucius orders an archer to kill her. Lucius is captured alongside Jugurtha, the king of Numidia, and other survivors, and then transported to Ostia, the port city of Rome. In Ostia, they are subjected to brutal exhibitions against wild baboons to advertise them as potential gladiators. It turns out that the Romans, seeking to showcase their new captives as potential gladiators, force them into combat against wild baboons. The slaves are then branded with a hot iron on the back of their shoulders before being taken into Rome. At Rome, we are introduced to Macrinus, a former slave who rose to prominence as an arms dealer, supplying weapons, food, and oil to the Roman armies. Macrinus also owns a stable of gladiators, which he competes with. A fierce battle begins between the baboons and the slaves, where Lucius mercilessly kills a beast. Lucius's ability to kill the beast catches the attention of Macrinus, the stable master. Impressed by Lucius's combat skills, Macrinus offers him the opportunity to fight in Rome's arenas, including the Coliseum. At the end of an intense battle with the baboons, Jugurtha is killed, and the remaining survivors, including Lucius, are sent back to the stables. Acacius returns to Rome as a celebrated war hero, and to commemorate his victory, the emperors, Geta and Caracalla, decided to organize grand gladiatorial games in the Coliseum. Disillusioned by continuous warfare, Acacius requests a break to spend time with his wife Lucilla. But to his surprise, the emperors deny his request, revealing their ambitions to expand the empire further into Persia and India. Senator Thrax hosts a lavish party for the emperors, featuring a gladiatorial duel for entertainment between Lucius and another gladiator, but Lucius emerges victorious in this duel. After winning the fight, Lucius recites a verse from Virgil's Aeneid, revealing his Roman education to the emperors and raising Macrinus's suspicion about his true identity. Later that day, Macrinus approaches him. During this encounter, Macrinus questions Lucius about his knowledge of Virgil's poetry, which Lucius had previously recited, revealing his Roman education. Lucius remains evasive in his responses, and when Macrinus offers him payment, Lucius refuses. General Marcus Acacius, Lucilla, and several Roman senators, including Thrax and Gracchus, convene secretly to discuss their growing discontent with the twin emperors Geta and Caracalla. Disappointed by the emperor's corrupt rule and their plans for further conquests, the group conspires to overthrow them and restore the Roman Republic. The following day, the gladiators are sent into the Coliseum. Lucius Verus participates in a grand display within the Coliseum alongside his teammates, where he faces a formidable opponent mounted on a rhinoceros. Aware of the rhinoceros's strength and the rider's advantage, Lucius employs evasive maneuvers, using the arena's obstacles to shield himself from direct charges. He takes advantage of his agility, running between structures and waiting for opportune moments to strike, aiming to exhaust the beast and its rider. Lucius manages to unseat the opposing gladiator through a combination of feints and precise strikes, leaving the rider vulnerable on the ground. With the rider incapacitated, the rhinoceros becomes increasingly agitated. Lucius uses his environment to his advantage, leading the animal into a confined space where its movements are restricted. In a decisive move, Lucius delivers a fatal blow to the gladiator, ensuring his survival and securing victory. The crowd erupts in applause, gripped by the unprecedented show and Lucius's ability. At the end of the fight, Lucius meets Ravi, the gladiator's doctor and a former gladiator, and befriends him. Ravi tends to Lucius's wounds and shares insights from his own experiences, revealing that he once fought as a gladiator before retiring to practice medicine. Later that night, Lucilla arranges a private meeting with Lucius in his cell. She apologizes for sending him away years earlier, explaining that it was to protect him from political threats in Rome at the time. It is then revealed Lucius is the son of Lucilla and the legend gladiator, Maximus Decimus Meridius. It turns out that Lucilla noticed her son during his initial match after Lucius performed a gesture reminiscent of his father, Maximus, by picking up sand in the arena before killing the rhino. Lucius, however, rejects him being the son of Lucilla and Maximus and harbors resentment, feeling abandoned by his mother, and struggles to forgive her. After returning home, Lucilla tells Acacius Lucius is alive, but the latter was in disbelief. Lucilla pleads with her husband, General Acacius, to help their son. She pleads with him to intervene on Lucius's behalf. Their conversation is overheard by a woman who serves as a handmaiden in the palace. She is secretly aligned with Macrinus, the ambitious stable master. She reports Lucilla's actions to Thraex, and Thraex relays the information to Macrinus, contributing to the subsequent arrest of Lucilla and General Acacius for treason. On the third day of the celebratory games, a staged naval battle takes place in the Coliseum. The arena is transformed into a vast water basin with wild sea sharks ready to hunt anyone that comes onto its path. Lucius, now a gladiator, leads his fellow soldiers to victory after a fierce fight between both sides, with the wild sharks devouring some of the gladiators who fell into the water. Seizing the moment, he attempts to assassinate General Acacius by firing a crossbow at him. However, the attempt is unsuccessful and Acacius survives. Later that night, Acacius and some guards attempted to free Lucius from his gladiatorial bondage. However, Senator Thraex betrayed their plan, leading to the arrest of both Acacius and Lucilla before they can execute the rescue. After General Acacius and Lucilla are arrested for plotting against the twin emperors, Geta and Caracalla. Both are then subjected to crucifixion, but Macrinus advises the emperors to have Acacius killed in the Coliseum and arranges for Lucius to fight him. After treating Lucius's wounds, Ravi reveals a hidden shrine dedicated to Maximus, Lucius's father, which preserves Maximus's sword and armor. This revelation deepens Lucius's connection to his heritage at the Coliseum. Lucius fights with General Acacius. Macrinus assigns Lucius to kill Acacius, but he declines to execute him after Acacius surrenders and manages to talk Lucius of plans against him. After some time, the Praetorian Guard executed Acacius at the emperor's command. The crowd becomes enraged by the unjust killing of a respected figure. Lucius seizes this moment to incite the crowd's anger, questioning, "Is this how Rome treats its heroes?" Macrinus questions Lucius why he refused to kill Acacius. Lucius defiantly refuses to be Macrinus's instrument, and Lucius argues that Rome can be a better place, but Macrinus disagrees. Later that night, after General Acacius's execution in the Coliseum, a riot erupted among the general public, forcing the twin emperors, Caracalla and Geta, to flee for their lives. Taking advantage of the chaos, Macrinus manipulates Caracalla into believing that Geta will blame him for the recent riot, worsening the existing tension between the brothers. This manipulation leads Caracalla to murder Geta, with Macrinus's assistance. That night, Lucia visits his son Lucius to reveal a shocking truth. It turned out, Lucius, being the son of Maximus Decimus Meridius and Lucilla, makes him the grandson of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, making him the heir to the throne at the time after his father's death. Thus, Lucius was sent away from Rome by his mother to protect him from potential threats. Lucilla then presents Lucius with a ring that once belonged to Maximus. She tells him, "This ring belonged to Maximus. I now give it to you. What is the dream of Rome if its people are not free?" Lucius is inspired by his mother's words and the legacy of his father. At the main hall, Emperor Caracalla appoints his pet monkey, Dundas and Macrinus, as consul of Rome, to the surprise of the council members, including Senator Thraex. Following this appointment, the council members hail Dundas and Marcinus, acknowledging their new position. After Emperor Caracalla leaves the hall, Macrinus addresses the council members, expressing his disapproval of the emperor's erratic behavior, particularly the appointment of his pet monkey, Dundas, as consul. Macrinus highlights the need for stability and rational leadership in Rome, faintly positioning himself as a more suitable leader after showing the council the severed head of Emperor Geta. With a mix of anxiety and contemplation, recognizing the gravity of Macrinus's words and the potential implications for the empire's future, the council members respond by standing and raising their hands, signaling their agreement and support for Macrinus's ideas. Macrinus visits Lucilla in her cell and reveals that he was once a slave under the rule of her father, Marcus Aurelius, and will avenge himself on Rome by becoming emperor and ending the imperial dynasty. Later that night, Lucius entrusts Ravi with a crucial mission. He instructs Ravi to deliver a message to Ostia, where an army is stationed seeking their assistance. He entrusts Ravi with a ring as a token to gain the army's support. After Ravi delivers the ring to General Darius Sextus in Ostia, the general recognizes it as a symbol of Lucius's lineage and legitimacy. Moved by this, General Sextus agrees to support Lucius's cause. The next morning, General Sextus mobilizes his forces and marches toward Rome to aid in the impending conflict against Macrinus and the corrupt leadership. At the Coliseum, Macrinus convinces Caracalla to use Lucilla as bait, with only Lucius defending her against a horde of enemies. He told Caracalla will never know peace if Lucilla lives. In his plan, Lucius and Lucilla will be slaughtered, triggering another riot, which the Senate will defuse by executing Caracalla. Lucilla is brought into the Coliseum, along with the senators with whom she conspired. Armed with Maximus's sword and armor, Lucius rallies the gladiators to revolt against their enslavement and defend Lucilla from execution. Back at the Coliseum, Lucilla is bound for execution, but the gladiators storm the arena to help Lucius. Macrinus kills Emperor Caracalla by stabbing his ears before fatally shooting Lucilla, killing her. Macrinus flees the rioting city with Lucius in pursuit after being informed that the army of Acacius is advancing just outside Rome. Acacius's and Macrinus's armies meet outside Rome, and to prevent a battle, Macrinus and Lucius duel. A vicious fight begins where Macrinus nearly kills Lucius in a river, but it turned out Acacius's amour shielded all the sword attack. Inspired by his mother's voice, Lucius kills Macrinus. After the victory, Lucius reveals his true identity as the imperial heir and speaks to both armies, convincing them to build a united and progressive Rome with him. The movie ends with Lucius at the Coliseum mourning the death of his parents. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.